Let's take a few minutes to create beautiful space division using Framewall. I'm going to start by going into my Loftwall extension and onto the second tab where all of the product lives. And under Room Dividers is Framewall right there at the top. So I'm going to click on this and I will come over into my drawing and you're going to see that mine is set to 6 foot 6 inches high, and then it's also one of the wider widths that are there. It's just holding what I used last. Okay. Now, in my quick properties, I am able to adjust my configuration as I place it, but I can also go back after placement and change that. So I'm going to hit Tab, use my space bar to just kind of toggle through the different configurations. And down in my 3D view, I'm going to see how those configurations change. Now, I like to draw in 2D, but leave my split view on so that I can see what my configuration looks like while also lining up my product in 2D. Okay. So now that I've selected my height and my configuration, I'm going to click to place it. As I go and start to place more of this frame wall product, I'm going to see that it likes to snap to other instances of it. Okay. Now, if I want to override that, I can hold down Shift, and that will override that snapping and allow me to place another standalone version of this. But I really like that seamless look in the corner, so I'm going to allow it to snap and make adjustments there. Okay. Once I place this and it snaps to the other, it's actually going to change the connector to a linking connector or a junction, depending upon how I have this placed. Now I'm going to place a third one to finish this out, and then I will flick that off my screen. Now I'm going to see that through the intelligence of this extension, it knows the different types of bases to put in there. So I have a half moon standard base, and then right here I have a linking base, and then another linking base. Okay, so this is why I'm going to let it do its own snapping, because it's going to update the product in a way that makes sense for that particular configuration. Okay, once I've placed it, I do have the ability to stretch this or make it smaller. Okay, and in my top left-hand corner, I can see the available widths for this. Okay, I also have the ability to adjust the height if I want to, so I can stretch that down or up. Okay, but I like the configuration that is there, so I'm going to stick with that. All right. Something to note, if you want to flip that configuration, so let's say I actually wanted this long one here and the short one over there, so just kind of spin this around, I can do that in 2D. So I'm going to grab this little rotate piece and spin that around. Now, sometimes when I do that, my bases will disconnect, so I'll just give it a quick little wiggle, and that should reconnect that. My corner doesn't seem to have connected the way I wanted it to. That's okay. I can just delete this one out and either grab a fresh one from over here or simply copy one of these. So I'm just going to copy this one. So I'll hit A. You'll see it automatically connects down there. Like I said, it really likes to connect. And then I will click to place that. Now, I'm going to go through and do a couple of other things. So in my 2D, I can select my frame, and you're going to see in my quick properties, I now have the ability to change the color of that frame. So maybe I want to make that frame black. Okay. And I'm just going to go through and make all of these black really quickly. All right. You'll notice that my feet updated to match my frame as I made that change. Okay, that intelligence is built in. Now, if I didn't want my feet to change, maybe I want them to stay silver to blend in with the carpet, I can select that foot or that base. And when I click on that, you'll see I have the ability to make adjustments to that here. So maybe I want this one on the end to be a flush flat and then also that silver. Okay. As I click on my next base, we're going to see it has different options, and that's because it's a linking base. Okay. So this one can either be 6 inches or 12 inches. It's got to be that circle there. Okay. Now, because this is a taller configuration, I am going to make sure I leave this at 12 inch to add a little more stability. Okay. And I'll change that to silver again so it blends in. And I'm just going to keep moving through. We'll leave this one at 12, change that one to silver, and then we'll do this last one. I'm going to make this one floor mount. 12 inches to match the others, and then silver. Again, you don't have to go through and change the bases if you're okay with them all being the same color as the frame. All right, I'm just doing it to show that you can make that adjustment if you need to. Now, speaking of the ability to really customize this frame wall, I'm going to switch over to my 3D and start updating my panels that are in here. So to do that, I simply click on it. I'm going to see even more options in my quick properties box. And this is going to allow me to make changes either to each individual panel or to all of the panels as a whole if I want them to all be the same. Okay, so let's say I want them to all be translucent, frosted. Okay, once I make my selection here, I can come down to the bottom and I can make some changes. So let's say I want all of my panels that are that width in my current frame to be that translucent thin wall, or that translucent. Okay. If I wanted it to be all of my connected frames, I can do that. The next option here is same frame configuration, and that's throughout my drawing. And then panels on all frames, again, throughout my drawing. Now, I just want to focus on my setup that I have right here. I have a lot of other Loftwall items in my drawing, so I do just want to focus on these connected frames for right now. So I'm going to click on Panels on Connected Frames and then hit Apply. And you'll see that's going to move throughout all of those configurations. Okay. Now, if I wanted to make all of them, I could do all panel width, and they could all be that clear frame wall. Okay. Now, let's say I want to make all of my squares something different. So maybe these should be, let's do blocks, and we'll do almost white. And then I'm going to do the same thing. This one, I'm going to do same panel width because I only want my small ones to be that. And then we're going to do on connecting frames and hit apply. So that fills it in really fast. Okay. If I want to make a change, all right, so let's say that I want these guys down here to be it's regular acoustic, and we'll make them bark. It's a nice wood color. I would go through and select each one individually. Okay. And that gives me that flexibility to change them to whatever I want individually. Okay. But maybe all of these blocks up here at the top, I actually want these to be different. Okay. I do have some down here. So maybe all of my blocks are going to be something different. Okay. So I can click on that, make my selection up here, and let's say I want them to all be medium gray instead of almost white. Okay. Now I'm going to use this guy right here. So anything with the same feature group, so blocks is the feature group, I'm going to hit apply. And we're going to see all of those blocks changed from almost white to medium gray. Okay. And then down here, maybe I want these to be wood instead of clear. I do love the beautiful walnut that we have available here. And I will say that I have this walnut used throughout my drawing and other places. So you'll actually notice these shift bookcases back here. Those have that same walnut. So this is going to create that nice sense of flow throughout my space, nice continuity throughout. So here we go. We have now created our frame wall. We have updated the panels within it to match other elements throughout our drawing, and we are ready to roll.